So we are on our second week of our Shattered series, where we have been working through the book of Job. Last week, we looked at Job chapter 1 and 2, and this week, we're talking about the third chapter, which deals with the idea of lament. And for the video this week, I am joined by Pastor Angie and also by one of our Trellis residents, Molly. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about the idea of lament. And in the message this past weekend, I had talked about the fact that sometimes in Christian circles, there is this unspoken rule that we are to look on the bright side of life. And so sometimes, if we're honest, lament can be jarring. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's easy for us to say that others have had it so much worse than us that there's really no point for us to talk about our struggles, to really go to God for our struggles, because our life has been so mellow and we've had what we consider good or happy lives. And so why would we complain about our struggles when God has blessed us so much? Like, can we even do that? Is that okay? Like, is that like not being grateful for our blessings? I think that's why it's hard for me personally to not want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I think of my home. I grew up the same way, and my mom had like many things to be lamenting over as we were growing up, but she didn't. But the sad part is I am now seeing how that has affected her later in life when she didn't recognize or acknowledge those feelings that are there that God created. He created grief. He created sadness. He gave that to us for a purpose. But when we ignore it or we act like everything's perfect or okay, we're ignoring a piece of us that needs some attention, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know where that unspoken rule kind of came from, but I felt the same kind of guilt that you were talking about, Molly, the whole idea of we can't be upset about this. Other people have it so much worse. And I don't know if it's maybe a misunderstanding on our part as people in the church of what it means to be joyful. And so we think that being joyful doesn't equal also experiencing pain.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I was reading this article as we were looking at this idea of lament, and part of the article talked about this warning where it said you can't go so far to this side where you have to be afraid of lament, where it's jarring because we always look on the bright side of life, but you also can't go to the extreme that this becomes God-approved grumbling.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what are your guys' thoughts? Like, where is that line? What does it look like?
I think it's so important to be honest with God and talk with God. It doesn't have to be grumbling, but sometimes maybe we're a little disgruntled. I'm like, what in the world? Why is this happening?
Right.
But we can't stay stuck there for sure. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of defining grumbling. It's not just expressing the pain, but being stuck in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easy to do. It's easy to be like,
really is.
oh, woe is me. And life is so hard. And life is hard. And it's not that that we have to act perfect or act like it's not hard. But we do still have to remember that joy and find the joy, even in the suffering. And that's not easy.
Right.
Not easy.
Now, you had thought something about grumbling too.
I said I think it's easy for me to get caught up in that because I have nowhere else to go. It's entirely out of my hands, and I'm just like, all I can do is talk about it. What do I do? Like I either talk or I pray about it, and I get so frustrated and I keep going on and on, but that's when we get stuck. That's where we get caught up in it. And so I think it's really good that God sets that boundary with us. Like, I care about you. I want to hear what you're going through. But I've also blessed you so much too. Like, I can help you along through this. Like,
I think that's the key. He cares about you and he created you. And so he's okay. Like I always say, I think of David, and David did a lot of lamenting, right? And it makes me feel like, okay, it's okay to talk to God about it. It's okay to give him those hurts. He's big enough, he can handle it. He can take it, and I don't have to feel like he knows anyway, even if I don't speak it.
That's
you
true.
know?
I forget that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm so frustrated. And then I'm like, wait, you know this too. And so like I just like keep going on about it. And so it's just
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When he and I don't know, that's my train of thought.
No, that's okay. I think that's really a good idea, because I think I like the idea of that grumbling is when we go past lamenting into just being stuck and like wallowing in it. And it is easy. I am an out loud processor.
yeah.
And so I like to talk through what I'm thinking. But sometimes I do that because I want to be in control and I don't let go and I get stuck. And
Yes.
that's when I slip into grumbling.
Yeah.
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 So
But I think prior to that, what I was thinking a second ago is he likes to have conversation with us.
That's true too.
And so, and he's okay if it's not all perfect and like on the positive side. He's okay if sometimes it's, hey, this is where I'm doubting, or this is where I'm struggling, or, you know, the fact that we bring him into that space in our lives, I think is important.
yeah. So we also were talking in the message this past weekend about Psalm 139, because as I was reading through through Job 3, I kept coming back to Psalm 139 because of the imagery of light and darkness and shadow and pain and suffering. And so Psalm 139, verse 7 through 12, it just says, I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the grave, you are there. If I ride on the wings of the morning, if I dwell by the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength will support me. I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night, but even in darkness, I cannot hide from you. To you, the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. Like, what are some of your thoughts as you read that and you think about that in light of suffering and lament?
I think for me, it's just a really huge reminder that God is not dependent on me.
Wow.
That's big. That's great.
It doesn't matter where I'm at in life, like mentally, physically, emotionally. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't, like, whatever happens, it's not me. I can't change God. And that's like really hard for me because like a part of me is like, oh no, like I screwed up, or I did this, or like this is something, like something's going wrong. Like what did I do? What did I do? And it's like, God is God. I can't change that. His character is still true and it is still good. And even in horrible places, God is still good, and it doesn't change that. And that's what that reminds me of.
That is awesome.
That's really
That
good.
is so good. Yeah, I don't know how to follow that, Molly.
I don't know either.
Awesome. Very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I keep coming back to the last part of that passage about even if I let the darkness swallow me, or that whole idea of sometimes it's not us running and hiding. Sometimes we feel hidden because of life situations.
Yeah.
And we can't see because it's so dark and it's so painful. But that reminder that even in those places, God's vision is still perfect.
Yeah.
He still has complete clarity.
Yeah.
We're never hidden from his spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And that's such a sweet thing to be reminded of. Because we do have moments as Christians where we feel like he's not present.
Yeah.
He's not there. But there's nowhere we can go that he won't be. And to be reminded of that is, I don't know, that's a sweet thing to me. That helps me to feel safer, to feel more loved, to know that he cares that much. Even in my darkest hour, he's right there.
yeah.
He cares.
It kind of makes me think of like how God is the good shepherd and like he knows his sheep by name.
Yeah.
So even when we're off by a cliff, like he calls our names, and if we have the ear to listen, we can always follow his voice back to where he is, and that brings so much comfort to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So in the last few minutes that we have with the groups as they listen to this, what would you give as where do we even begin? Like, how do we start this? How do we even begin with lament?
I think we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
That we actually, that life isn't exactly the way we might have expected or anticipated or hoped. Because if we're not honest here, then it's going to be really hard to be honest with God.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, for me, I think it's to let go.
Yeah.
I have to surrender it. I have to trust that, um, bad things happen, and sometimes there's things that we can't do about it.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it, but God is always there, and God is our peace and our hope, and we can trust Him with our moving on.
Yeah.
These are big feelings, and they're important, but feelings were intended to be temporary.
Yeah.
We were never meant to stay there, and so we can move on and trust that it will be okay. Even if we still have it, we can keep going.
I think that word trust is really important.
It is.
Trusting God with it all. Trusting that he really does care. He really is there. I think that's huge.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think that is at the heart of lament, is because we go to Him, we share our pain, we share our hurt, because we're trusting Him to carry something that we can't carry.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's the point, or the I don't even know what you would call it, but it's the best part of lament. If lament can have a good
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It causes us to press into Him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of like a God, I need you to address this,
Yeah.
but I trust however you do that is going to be okay, and then I can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Well, we're glad that you guys joined us for a few minutes, and we hope that this has helped to give you a little bit more to think about as you work through your devotionals and you work through your table talk and your chair time in those devotionals. And we hope that you keep just leaning into this series as we look and experience this idea of just being able to sit and be okay in some uncomfortable spaces.